Welcome back to Still Here. In the last episode, we talked about the moment of diagnosis, what it can bring into focus, and the questions that often follow. Today, I want to talk about something that may be confusing to family members and caregivers if we are only thinking about dementia as a problem with memory. I had an encounter in my office with a 68-year-old woman who was brought in by her spouse and son because she was very anxious. The anxiety was so severe, they see the distress and they felt her quality of life was affected. When the patient came to the office, she was able to answer questions reasonably well. She did not seem to have obvious memory problems. She knew where she was and what she was in the doctor's office for. She endorsed having anxiety about everything, something she never had before. She was anxious about doing chores, talking to people, answering the phone, going out, even to church, which she previously enjoyed. Family members did not believe she was having any problems with her memory, but her husband did say that her cooking had been different. He didn't really want to say it because it was as if he was betraying her, but he knew I was looking for anything at all that may have shifted or changed. When he said this, their son endorsed that he noticed some emails from her that were blank messages, or emails that did not make much sense. This interaction alone gives me a lot of information that I understand as a provider, because I have the theoretical knowledge, I have the experience, and I can be objective. In this episode, I want to emphasize that it's not always memory loss that is first noticed. It is not always memory loss that decreases the quality of life. It is not always memory loss that causes the shift. Most people think that dementia is equal to memory loss. I want to gently modify this assumption. Memory is part of it, but it is not the whole story. In many cases, what families find most difficult are not the memory changes, but the changes in behavior, mood, and judgment. Going back to our 68-year-old woman, she did not have obvious memory problems. Maybe some forgetfulness or lapses that were not concerning. However, she did present with new onset anxiety, She's anxious because things are slowly changing. She may not be completely aware of it. She may not completely understand it or even explain it, but she feels it. She feels that somehow she's less capable, inefficient, or even incompetent. This feeling of inadequacy can make someone feel very anxious. She's anxious about doing chores for fear that she may not do it the right way. She's anxious about starting a task for fear of not being able to complete it. This anxiety can slowly but progressively affect different areas in her life. So much so that everything becomes overwhelming. Anxiety becomes more prominent when they leave their comfort zone. Most people, their comfort zone is home. Anything outside the home can be anxiety-provoking. Thus, it is not surprising that patients with dementia become more hesitant or even resistant to going out. Much as sometimes we feel that going out and socializing may be good for them, it can exaggerate the anxiety and cause severe distress. Anxiety is just one of the few things that can develop. The same 68-year-old woman can exhibit depression, agitation, suspiciousness, impulsivity, and so on. These behaviors are not random and not just simply loss of control. Behaviors happen because of a few reasons. It may be someone's form of communication. Discomfort may be conveyed as anxiety. Fear may be conveyed as paranoia. Behaviors also happen because when someone develops dementia, brain cells are slowly dying. The same brain cells that regulates chemicals involved in mood, anxiety, cognition. So when these chemicals get dysregulated, chances are behaviors develop. They can be depressed, they can be angry, they can be anxious. Behaviors can also happen because a person is just trying to navigate a world that no longer feels consistent or predictable. Behaviors happen because some people who develop dementia retain insight and they are very aware of their cognitive decline. So much so that it becomes a chronic and significant stressor, causing depression, withdrawal, isolation. As these changes happen, Although it is difficult, as caregivers, we have to learn to interpret situations, regulate our own emotions, and our response to stress. We may move from correcting to understanding, from reacting to supporting, from resisting to accepting. When we understand these behaviors, it changes how we respond. It can allow us to meet them where they are, rather than to expect them to return to where they were. In the next episode, we will talk about something that often unfolds alongside these changes: the way relationships begin to shift, and what it means when roles within a family start to change. Thank you for listening to Still Here. Wherever you are in this experience, I hope that these conversations bring a little more understanding and remind you that you are not alone in it.